Hey everyone, how's it going? Quite a day today. Oh, it's Tuesday, the day after Thanksgiving, as every Canadian should know. Americans, yeah, next month, your Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone yesterday. Anyways, had a couple people I seen working on some jonsereds on some Huskies about the oiler system on them and the clutch system. I'm going to show you right here now. It's an old 266, but it's the same as a jonsered 630 and a whole bunch of different models. 272, 268, all those type of models, okay? This is an old coarse thread clutch system, which are hard to get these days, but I've already impacted it off, okay? We all know it's lefty-tighty and righty-loosey on clutches on Husqvarna with an outboard clutch. Has been for years, just like several different manufacturers. So you want to use an impact to see if you can get it off with a 3/4 socket. If you can't get it with your electric one, if it ain't that great, use a 1/2-inch drive one and hit it real hard and boom, it comes right off. Have the spark plug in. If it has a compression release, have it popped out so you're not having the decomp on, and they'll spin right off. You can also, if you don't have impacts, use the old rope method, where you take the spark plug out, rotate it from top dead center down about a 1/2 inch, put a bunch of starter rope in there, turn it back up to top dead center to lock it like a piston stop, and then crank it off by hand with a long bar, like give her a good one, right? It'll come off. But I use an impact 1/2 inch one, and boom, they come off easily. These old coarse thread ones come off a little easier than the fine thread ones, but that's the way to do them. So let's get into it now. I'll zoom you in on this, and I'm going to give you a whole rundown of this oiler. This thing's been sitting on my bench here, or on a shelf in the back. It kind of turns over, sort of. So I don't know what the inside's like, but I'm going to show you the clutch system and the oiler system and how it all functions and how to repair it. Here we go. So let's zoom you in. 1 times, 2 times. Yeah, let's get right in there so you get a good view of it. I'll show you exactly how it all works, okay? So here we go. I've already loosened it off, right? So I'm going to spin it off, righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. You never impact these hard on when you tighten it back up. Give it a little bit of a zap, and that's it. Then put the bar and chain on it and run it. If you don't run a bar and chain on these after you just lightly tighten them up, they can fly off. As you're running it without a bar and chain and the side cover on, these clutches will come off and go down the road about 200 feet at about 300 miles an hour, and you're going to lose it. So be careful, okay? Safety caution. So let's spin it off. Righty-loosey. So there's our clutch. Like I said, it's an old coarse thread type one, which 266s, 61s, some different models had. Check the spring. I just pull the shoes like this. I can pull it pretty hard. This one's still in good shape. It's a good clutch still. And they're hard to get. So I'm just going to set this aside. Pull the drum off, which will have the bearing built into it on a lot of these units. And then the sprocket and the plastic dust washer, okay? So the way these drums are, some of them have a separate bearing in the drum, and some of them have them built in when they're older models, okay? This one's got a built-in one, and it's in great shape. There's no broken bearings or nothing, okay? The sprocket itself, yeah, it should be replaced, but you could still use it. And you guys all know that, eh? Like every about 5 or 6 chains, a guy should change the sprocket because they get out of pitch, and that's what stretches chains and whatnot, eh? Just replace them once in a while. They're only $10. Probably $6 in America, eh? Because our dollar's crappy these days. So there you go. There's the clutch drum with the sprocket that goes on the spline, right? Okay, so that goes on the spline here. Let's get it on right. Goofing around here. Okay. Then this plastic dust washer goes on. And it goes on with the higher side of it onto the sprocket like that, okay? On there like that, so this grooved area here sits in the oiler area here of the oiler, okay? Then on the oiler itself here, it has a steel washer, like a stainless steel kind of one, that just sits in there to space it all out properly, okay? So even more of a dust protector. And if you see here how it sits in there just perfect, okay? So there you go. There's your clutch drum, your sprocket, the plastic dust washer, and the metal guide washer, okay? Spacer washer. Now you have your oiler here itself, 3 bolts. I always take a little screwdriver and clean the bolts out, the heads of the bolts, so you don't strip it with your Allen wrench. You need a 3mm Allen wrench to take these screws out. And right here up on the top left-hand corner, you'll see there's actually adjustments, okay? So they come standard, I think, around maybe number 2, but you can take and turn this plastic kind of screw to adjust your oiler, okay? See that? This one's a little wore out, but not bad, okay? It still moves. So what it does is centers the shaft of the oiler shaft a little differently to either travel more back and forth, and that gives you more oil, okay? So I'm just going to show you this now. Here's the oiler gear itself, which has a stainless steel washer in behind to protect the oiler gear from the seal, okay? So your oiler gear comes off. There it is. It looks in good shape. And there's your washer. So just remember to put it back this way when you put it back together. What I do a lot of times to try to teach people stuff is take this whole combination and put it back together just on the bench here like this, okay? So there's the oiler gear and the washer, the stainless steel washer, the plastic dust cover washer, your sprocket, and your drum. Then your clutch. Put it in there like that. And simply go over and get yourself a piece of wire, which I just happen to have right here, or like one of those, nylon tie straps. Put through the clutch here, and whatnot. Take it and just wrap it like so, okay? So that way, you can put it in your box, your parts box, and you know exactly how it goes back together. Just a good idea if you're not that familiar with working on saws like I am. I've done thousands and thousands of these, so I know the order, okay? But that's how you want to take it apart and leave it like that in your parts box, eh? So you don't lose anything and everything goes back together properly. So here we go. We got the oiler here now. And on Husqvarna saws, in this 200 series of saws, they have the same kind of oiler on them all, okay? So the seal is built into the oiler, and it's a good thing to replace once in a while, especially with this saw. Like this one, if I was going to rebuild it, of course I'm going to put some seals in it. It's a 1983 saw. Think about it, how old that is. How old is that? 25, 35. Holy Jesus, it's like 42, 43 years old. Okay, so let's take our oiler off. 3 Allen screws. Empty your oil out too, by the way. I don't know if I did on this one, but I don't care. I'm going to take it apart anyways. I'm just going to probably turn this into a part saw. I don't even know what the engine looks like, but I will find that out later on. So there we go. One screw out. Set it aside. And these screws have Loctite on them from the factory. You notice this red coating on it? That's Loctite from the factory. Almost all oiler screws on Husqvarnas have Loctite on them from the factory, which is a good idea. Some of the oiler screws, like a 372 or a 371, actually go right into the crankcase by the bearing. So you need to have a little bit of Loctite or something on it so you don't suck air through those screws. Okay? But these ones don't. So there's the 3 screws out, laying them down there right now for now. And on the oiler here, you have a little side groove here by the front by the bar studs and one on the back. So you just simply pry this out. Let's get a better screwdriver. That's my little tuning screwdriver. I don't want to wreck it. A bigger flat blade, go underneath it like this in the front, pry it up evenly until it kind of comes loose, okay? So there's the seal coming off the crankshaft on the bigger part of the crankshaft by the bearing. Look at that bearing. Ooh, there's some cruddy stuff in there, eh? When you do take this off, just note that here's your oiler hose that goes into the oil tank. It's where the oil comes out as it pumps through the oiler, and as it pumps through the oiler, it comes out of the exit hole here to feed the bar here, okay? Through the bar plate area, the bar guide area. So take this little O-ring, before you lose it, because they're not hard. I don't know if they still make them or not. Take that little rubber O-ring off there, kind of a flat washer, put it in your box, or simply put it back onto the oiler here where the feed hole is so you don't lose it. It's grippy enough on there, hopefully you don't lose it. But as you wash it, make sure you don't lose that, okay? Now you can take your oil feed hole out, okay? Check it. Sometimes the brass ends on these oilers can, little screens fall off, then a lot of crap goes into your oiler and plugs them up. Simply blow through this hose. Make sure there's no restrictions in it, okay? After that, make sure your tank's clean inside, of course, right? Just put the hose back in. Let it sit in there, okay? Okay? There we go. So now we have your oiler here. It's got the seal built into it. The oiler flat O-ring is on there. And I'm going to show you how it works and what to look for if it's not pumping. This seal right now, I can feel that it's very hard and quite worn. There's not much of a shoulder on it. So if I was rebuilding this saw, I'd be putting a new seal in it. And probably the other side as well. The ignition side, I'll put one in as well. So also on these oilers, you notice there's an O-ring around here, which seals this bearing surface area between the bearing and the oiler, okay? I would recommend not removing it because most people wreck them as they remove them. So leave it on there and simply put a little bit of Moto Seal or some good proper sealant, just a little bit around it when you put it back together so it seals there again, okay? Because more than likely it's wore. If you can get a new one, bonus. Get a new one and put it on it. But if not, like I say, don't remove it because you'll rip it. And just put some sealant around it and put it back together, okay? With the new seal in it. So what I was saying to a fella the other day about these oilers, if you notice how the main shaft gear here has a little screw in it here, okay? This little screw right now, you can see, I don't know if you can see, but it's got like a green color to it, right? Okay? A lot of times on these older saws, if they're worked really hard, sometimes the screw vibrates out and then the shaft moves outwards more, okay? And it strips the gear as it's going because it's not meshing right. So check that little screw, make sure it's tight. Even if you check it if it's tight, take it out and re-Loctite it anyways, just because, okay? If it is missing, you want to try to find one and center the shaft here again, the gear here on the shaft, and put the screw back in, okay? If you don't have that in there, all you're doing is turning this gear, but it's not turning the whole shaft to pump the oil. You get what I mean? And on the side here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, is where you can adjust it so it travels farther for more oil or travels less for less oil. So depending on bar length you're running, I like to run everything at maximum. Give everything lots of good oil, okay? They do oil good the way they are from the factory, but you can set it up to run a little bit more oil if you're running a long bar. So there you go. Here's your most problems with these saws, these older ones, is that little screw in the shaft or the gear for the shaft. The oiler gear gets eaten up because that moves, or simply someone didn't put it together right or got some debris in there that wrecked the gear, okay? Or it could just be simply plugged up with stuff like I showed you in that hose and in there. If your oiler is plugged up, right here you have your pickup hole. Right here is the hole where the feed comes to it, eh? And this is where it comes out. So what you can do is when you have it off, simply spin the gear with your hand here like I'm doing right here. Just spin it with your finger and blow out with air in those holes. If there's any debris in there, it'll come out, man. Okay? That's all I do to it. So yeah, put a new seal in them. Seal the outer O-ring here to go by your bearing. Clean your line systems. And hopefully you'll be okay. And hopefully that screw's in there and everything is copacetic, right? So if you do all that to it, it should work fine. Husqvarna oilers are quite reliable. You shouldn't have too much problem with that. Okay? Yeah. There you go, olive oil. Popeye's girlfriend, right? So yeah, these are great old saws, but that's the most problems with oilers on the 61 model, 266, 272, all those 200 series ones, okay? Let me zoom you back out again. Hopefully everyone got that. There was actually a video that I did a couple years ago, I believe, but I showed, I believe, a 288 oiler, which was different. Those ones don't have the little screw in the gear like this, okay? So that's why I wanted to do this video tonight for that person that was working on a jonsered. So hopefully they watch it on my YouTube channel, or maybe I'll put a link to it on the jonsered partner Facebook site or whatever there was, right? Or is. So there you go. I had a nice visit today from a friend of mine, Scott, that I've met through YouTube. He works in the Yukon. He lives in Manitoba. Him and his nice wife came here today. They came to the saw shop first after they caught the ferry here to Vancouver Island, or the Fantasy Island, I call it. And they had a nice visit at the saw shop. He bought a couple bars, some chains, and he's dropped his 462 off here for me. I'm going to modify it up, walkerize it up for him, so he can go to the Arctic and cut the fastest, what do you call those things in the water? My God, icebergs! Cut that iceberg the fastest as anyone. Just kidding. Being a little goofy, but yeah, Scott, really nice to meet you and your wife, and I hope you have a nice trip on the island here, and when you come back and grab your saw, you're going to love it, and we'll go from there. So keep your saw in the wood, stick in the ice, you're rubbing the road. Have a great night. Fall is here. It was a beautiful day today. I took Fozzie for a run earlier. I made Shelly a nice dinner. Now I'm down here tinkering. So, yeah. Time to get at her. Get this off the bench and get on with another project and keep those saws going. Have a good night. Bye now.